Hello, this is Matthew O'Toole speaking, and today I'll be bringing you another edition of Australia's COVID figures. So, as per usual, I'll give each state's amount of COVID cases for today, which is the 11th of January 2022, and then I'll provide my opinion on these numbers and then just give a review of the numbers. So, we'll start off with Victoria. For those of you who don't know me, I live in Victoria, so this hits pretty close to home. The numbers we've got here, which I've memorised, are 37,944. For one day, that's quite a lot. That's quite a lot of cases. As someone who lives in Victoria, I'd prefer if that number was less. But at the end of the day, there's not, you can't really help it at the end of the day. I'm just one person, so there's not so much I can do. That's a pretty, as a summary, that's a pretty high number. But Victoria's a pretty big state. Who really gives a fuck? New South Wales, 25,870. Not as much as Victoria. To be honest, I don't know. I've never been to New South Wales, so I'm not sure if it's big or not. So if it's a bigger state than Victoria and it's got less numbers, then that's pretty good. But if they've got less people, then I guess that comes out about the same. So my comments for New South Wales would be the same as Victoria, if it has less people. But I'm not quite sure if they have less people. Haven't checked. My internet was down, so I couldn't quite check. Otherwise, I would have. Queensland, 20,566. That's quite a few for the Sunshine State. Well, that's the thing. I mean, that's quite a bit more than I would have expected. Actually quite disappointed when I read that number. Actually, I would have thought that would have been a lot lower. There's a few people in Queensland with a little bit to answer to, I imagine, because that's a lot higher than I would have expected. The first two states, Victoria and New South Wales, I wasn't too fussed about, but Queensland, that's actually very disappointing. I would have really thought that's almost as high as New South Wales. I'm actually pretty pissed off about that. That's pretty. I'm peeved off. I don't want to swear, but I'm peeved off about that. On to the next before I get too angry. Tasmania, 1,379. Wow. Last time I checked, I thought Tasmania didn't have too many, because I was going to go on holiday to Tasmania with one of my friends, but I caught COVID myself, so we didn't end up going. 1,379. That's also more than I would have thought. So it's a similar boat to Queensland. I feel not quite as bad, but I'm a bit unhappy with how that's been with those numbers. I'll give you a tip. WA 4. Yeah, who gives a shit? I couldn't care about WA, to be honest. ACT 1,508. That's a lot. That is a lot for a state the size of ACT. Only 1,508 is a lot. I'm very surprised by that. That's the worst so far. So on the rankings of who is the worst, Queensland are now second and ACT are first. So that's a bit, that's fudged. That's actually really a lot for the size of ACT. I'm very surprised to hear that. Really, there's not much in ACT, so how the hell are people catching COVID? Northern Territory, 594. That's a lot considering how empty the Northern Territory is. I always thought the Northern Territory would have quite a few less cases because it's so dispersed and so vast, plus the weather there's hot. but I guess I was wrong, which is surprising actually. South Australia, onto South Australia now. 2,921. So they're starting to catch up to the eastern states there. They were sitting pretty for a while there, but it looks like there's quite a bit of COVID in that state. So they're still doing better than a lot of the other states, but they're catching up. Eventually, it will overtake. It'll catch up with them. Right. So those are the daily numbers. I don't think I missed any states. Yeah, I didn't miss any states. So now I'm going to rank the states on one from best, as in they're doing a good job, to they're doing a bad job. So now, before I go and make this list, guys, just make sure, if you haven't liked, make sure to press the like button. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe, because I'm going to be doing plenty more of these lists. And you guys don't want to miss out, because the rankings change pretty often. So you're going to want to make sure you subscribe so you can see every ranking that I do. So in my opinion, just case-wise, the state that's doing the best is WA, obviously. But obviously there's external factors to that, but they're doing quite well when it comes to COVID. They've basically locked everyone out of their country, so I don't want to get into that too much, but 4 is pretty good, better than me. Second, I'd probably say South Australia. They're climbing up there, but 2,921 is pretty good considering the size of WA. So that's second. Third, I'd say New South Wales. I reckon New South Wales, just because it looked like they were going to get out of control for a bit there, but they've reined it in nicely. And 25,000 is actually, they're doing okay. They're trying their best. To be fair, everywhere else is doing pretty shit. So, but they're doing okay. Next best I'd say would be Tasmania. Yapple Isle. So that's number 4. Everyone at home, that's number 4. 4, Tasmania. So they're doing pretty well. No, not pretty well, but they're just doing less shit than everywhere else. On the numbers, my number 5, fifth best, would probably be Victoria. But having lived in Victoria, I know that the number's way more than 37,000. I reckon it would be over 70,000, honestly, because a lot of people just aren't getting tested because it's too difficult. But if the number is 30, actually, I'll take that back. They're doing terribly. Northern Territory is my new 5th. 594. There's not many people there, but for an entire state, 594 is not too bad. Plus, it's footy season over there, so they will catch COVID when they go to the footy. Oh well. Yeah. All the other ones are just, they're probably not worth ranking, in my opinion. I'm not going to waste. I'm not going to bother doing the rest of them, to be honest. So just Victoria, Queensland, and the ACT, you're not doing very well on my rankings. I'm only going to do the top 5. You guys have missed out, unfortunately, but you can change it. If you work hard, put your heads down, you can make it in my top 5. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. That's your daily COVID update. As I said, make sure to subscribe. And if you guys disagree with my top 5, leave a comment down below and let me know what your guys' top 5 would be. I read all my comments, so I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say. See you later.